That was just a short introduction of myself. I've been in it at Entrust for around 5 years. And I know that this will be recorded, and I also got the message that the slide deck will be shared afterwards. So if you want to write something down, you can just wait with that and interrupt me with questions during the session, or wait until the last minutes. We will have a Q&A if you like that. So let's move on to what the funny things. I'll just share my screen. And let's see what's going on here, if it wants to start. Okay, and thank you everybody for joining this session. And we're going to talk about the PKI and the certificate management that Entrust are working with. I didn't do an agenda, but I'll show a short introduction to Entrust, who we are and why we are talking about this today. And then we will look at the certificates in general, and at the end we'll talk about the life cycle management of certificates, including some automation. And at the end, I hope we have time for demo and also, of course, a Q&A. So first of all, Entrust. Who is Entrust? We've been here for 50 years, and the 50 years comes from the physical part of the company, and you are in touch with Entrust every day, because if you have a payment card or a passport, driver license, etc. printed, then it's 80% of all those are printed on Entrust equipment. So for instance, the Danish passport is also printed on a printer built by Entrust. But we are a worldwide company, so we are 24/7 around the globe with both offices, sales, and support. If we look at our thoughts and our products in another way, we are working with this very popular people, process, and technology approach to how we are doing our work with both partners and customers. And if we look at the hexagons here, we have it's kind of split into two. Do you have a question, or just not muted? Okay, thank you. So we have two parts here. We have the blue ones in the left here is consultancy services. Those are actually vendor agnostic, so we do not talk about Entrust or anyone else. This is a service where we have consultancies joining your company and make gap analysis, health checks, and so on, not only on equipment, but also on the processes. Are you ready for PKI implementation, and also the post-quantum readiness health check? So the world is introducing post-quantum computers, so we need to be ready for this. And that is one of the services we are dealing with. And then we have a lot of different segments, products we are working with to implement the security solutions around identities. And what we are talking about today is like the PKI. The PKI as a service, its certificates, and the rest of this we can talk about another day if you want us to talk about that. But it's, as it says, PKI and the certificate management we are talking about, and we will touch on that. So Entrust are working on certificates. I've been there for 25 years plus. We were actually the first company or vendor in the world that provided a portal on the internet, so you could log on and buy an SSL certificates. A lot of other vendors has been there now for many years also, but we were actually the first one. We're also one of the 5-7 public CAs, and we are in the CAP forum, which are a CA browser forum dictating how the certificates, how they should develop and how large they are, which protocols, which security standards, and so on. So that's why we are in the we are good at these PKI things. We have been there for many years, and we are on top of it. Actually, when I just spoke about the post-quantum, the post-quantum requires a new algorithm for the key length, how the keys are looking. So there are 3 algorithms left in the what you can call it competition, and one of them is Entrust. I have a colleague who is working with this one. So we are also in the front of the post-quantum readiness. A short story around PKI. We have, if you look at the left side, this is where PKI began. Somebody discovered that we needed to encrypt things for security. And we, in the beginning, there were 2 companies doing that, Entrust and RSA. And shortly after, Microsoft, they released their Microsoft Active Directory certificate service. And now it got easy, and that's why the guys are sleeping here, because we just spun up more and more CAs. For every time we had a new use case, we just created a new CA. So around the world, there are probably billion of CAs that are more or less managed and more or less known in the enterprises. Then the encryption community, people who were working with certificates, with security of those services, they got scared because suddenly we had the Poodle attack, we had Heartbleed attack. What they were about was that if you made a request to a web service, for instance, with a lower algorithm, it was because of the user experience. They were just lowering the actual algorithm required. So suddenly we were back to SSL 1, TLS 1, share 1, and so on. And now they could steal the code and they could break it within a very short time. So that was why another a more secure type of PKI environments were built, and Entrust was of course one of them. There were 5 or 6 others, and at some time we found out that we had too many CAs, we had too many certificates that we know nothing about, and that's why the CLM market was racing. So a lot of CLM, the certificate lifecycle management vendors came on. And now we have a growing number of use cases like IoT, DevOps. For instance, the Polestar electrical car has around 200 certificates inside that has to be changed every week. And the same with the Volvo. We also do Volvo IoT. And I guess the Tesla also have a lot of certificates. So that the number of certificates are growing. And that's why we introduced the Certificate Hub, which is our CLM tool. And we will, of course, talk about that later. What Entrust PKI offering is that we are a trust anchor for the security behind all the certificates, the PKIs, and the certificate environment. And we do have like root of trust on-premise PKI environments where we have key ceremonies, we have auditors saying yes, and we get a stamp on a certificate that this PKI is good. We do hardware security modules, we do managed services, cloud services for both PKI, code signing, document signing, etc. But also we have a lot of toolkits, agents and clients. So everything we do, we can also provide SDKs for mobile device developers and so on. And we are of course, in the top right corner of Gartner when it comes to the full products and solutions that we can provide within the public key infrastructure offering. Any questions so far? Our solutions are on four different key products, which is the on-premise PKI, where you have everything on-premise. Then we have the same kind of PKI, but hosted in a data center, and it's hosted and managed by Entrust. So you have the same capabilities as an on-premise PKI, but hosted in the cloud or at a data center. And of course, one of the advantages with on-premise PKI or managed that you own yourself is that you are in full control of all the certificate templates, the policies, and so around the certificates that you deploy to your different use cases. And then we have a public trusted PKI in the cloud as a service, and that's what we call the ECS, the Entrust Certificate Services. We will have a look at that today, and that's it's born in the cloud, so it is a cloud to cloud aware portal also, and inside that ECS portal and environment, we also have a PKI as a service as one of the first one doing that. And those are the main areas we will talk about today. And you can see on the next one, I will just, if I click on this one, so our PKI as a service is a, what you can say, approved by the largest vendors of the cloud solutions today. And actually, if you ask Microsoft to if they have a PKI CA environment, they do not have an approved one themselves. So in the Azure marketplace, they actually are pointing directly to the Entrust PKI as a service. So that's kind of awesome, right? And how do I get back there? The Entrust certificate solution portfolio. We have a lot of different services to help the customers around any encryption and certificate use case that you will show up with. The ECS portal, which are the online portal, that's where you buy public certificates, public qualified certificates. You can do document signing. You download your document signing certificates from there. And we have, like S-MIME for secure mail. But also, this is where you pick up code signing certificates. So if you are doing your own application for metering systems or any application that is a running exe file or whatever executable you're working with, then you will have a code signing capability, and those certificates, of course, we also provide. Then we do document signing certificates, and also that can be deployed as a service. Our managed PKI products, or the PKI, the public key infrastructure, we have both, as I said, as an on-premise managed, but also as a service. And for all these products, we can do on-premise, we can do a validation authority, and all of these services can actually be deployed as standalones. So if you just want an offline root CA and you have your own PKI somewhere else with something where you only want the off offline root CA, we can provide that. We have the hardware security modules and Cypher series. And also we can help you with the signing flows, approval flow for any signing service that you want to implement. And all these components are, what you say, it's supported by the Certificate Hub, our certificate lifecycle management. On the right side, we can see that all these products that we do have, we can help anyone with professional services doing the architecture. We can help you with gap analysis, integrate. We also do training, of course, and deployment of what any product that we have. So the product overview of digital certificates that you can download and buy from the Entrust Certificate Services portal is, of course, any type of public certificate that you requires for your use cases in your systems. We have standard SSL certificates and extended verification, multi-domain SSL and wildcard, but also private SSL certificates. So if you have critical services running in your infrastructure on premise, and you do not require a public certificate, then we have a private SSL certificate, for instance, that you can download and run on your internal websites, and it will still be a private SSL certificate from a trusted CA. And why it's important is that it's a tenth of the price of a public CA certificate. And then we have talked about the code signing, document signing, and device certificate also. So where do all these certificates come from? We have this Entrust Certificate Services. I will not do much slide about it because I will log into a portal in just a minute, and I think a short demo will be more sufficient. But we can create our certificates. We can look at our certificates. If they are managed, unmanaged. The important thing here is if they are unmanaged, we don't get alerts, we don't get emails, and managed, we do. So we have, of course, ways to get unmanaged certificates managed. We can do a big variety of reports. You can do your own reports and configure them in a designer. And in our administration tab, we have a lot of different configuration opportunities or options. So, as I said, inside this portal, we also have PKI as a service, and this is it's very easy to deploy for a customer. So you just inside your ECS portal, you call a reseller and say we want this in our portal, and that will be deployed within seconds. And now you can create a root CA, issuing CA within minutes. You can scale and use as many certificates as you like. Your deployment will just be scaled up by Entrust. And it is including with the security that comes around a trusted CA. So we are using hardware security modules for key protection and all the security stuff behind the backend. So instead of me showing a lot of boring slides, I think we should go to a demo of this. I just hit to escape here and try to get this one off. Let's see. I will now log into my ECS portal, which is a cloud service, of course. I have a username and a password, and of course I have two-factor authentication. So I will just, for the ease of we have only using the OTP for this, and I receive it now. So now I will be redirected into my ECS portal. And what are we looking at that we think are important here is that immediately when you buy, when you as a customer buy the first certificate, you will have a landing site here where you have your alerts. We can have you can choose what's in here. So if I click on this summary, you can see expiring certificates. So immediately logging in, you will have an overview of certificates that are about to run out of lifetime. So I talked about managed and unmanaged. Of course, if you create and download your certificates directly from this ECS portal, they will be managed, but we also have unmanaged. And this is the first thing we do when we work with customers, is that from the first time you can log into this one, you have access to a discovery scanner. So by downloading a discovery scanner, and for instance, you both have Linux and Windows executables, we can immediately run a discovery scan of our network. And what it's an Nmap scanning on a port range and an IP range. You can define that yourself. So that's the first thing we actually run a discovery in the network. So now we get a lot of certificates into our portal, which all will be unmanaged because we don't know where they come from. But we can see the CA that has deployed the certificate, and we can see who's owner, and we can see the IP address or fully qualified domain name of the certificates where we picked it up. And that's important because now we have these unmanaged certificates. And if I click in here and I want a certificate to be managed, I can actually click on this, and I have a license to move it from unmanaged to managed. So in an action, you can see I can actually now put it into managed, and now it will move into the other section. And the important of that was that now we get alerts on these certificates, the managed certificates. Since it might come from DigiCert or from Microsoft CA, we cannot renew it. But now we can see all the metadata on a certificate, and we can see when it expires. Of course, if it's an Entrust certificate, we should be able to do a renew and reissue. We can revoke, and so on. So that's the difference between an Entrust created certificate and, of course, managed certificates moved up from the unmanaged. And then we have the reports that you can get almost any kind of report from. So that's the important stuff of our Entrust certificate services portal. And we have there's a lot of other things we can do in here. If I create a certificate, this is what I have license for, and ask my reseller that I want to buy. So now I have access to all different types of certificates that I have that I've bought. And as the only vendor in the world, when we have a subscription-based deployment. So if you use a certificate, of course, the remaining inventory will go down. But if I revoke the certificates, it will be back into the inventory. So if you have a lot of developers, if you have test sites, events that is going on for 3 months, then you need a new certificate. You can just revoke it, and it will be back into your inventory. So that's also a fine thing. You can do some role-based access here, and then we have the PKI as a service management. So if you tell your reseller that you would like to introduce PKI as a service, you can create your roots CA in here, which can be, now I add one. If I do a root certificate, now you can see that you can actually test the peak, the post-quantum also from our PKI as a service. You can already use the post-quantum algorithms in your certificates. But anyway, you can very easily create a CA from your ECS portal, and that can both be a new root, online root certificate authority, or you can sign this root CA with your on-premise CA, and now you will have the same certificate issue. The certificates will be issued with the same PKI structure. One of the really nice thing right now from Entrust, the PKI as a service, is that we have directly integration to Intune. So I have my demo account against my Azure demo account. This is how easy it is to implement Intune certificate-based deployment from Entrust PKI as a service. This is all you need. I have my application information from Intune, and now I get connections directly to Intune. So now we are doing cloud-to-cloud certificate deployment for the Intune devices. Nothing on-premise, nothing to configure with Microsoft ADCS and so on. This is very, very easy and very nice. This will also be available for WSTEP certificate auto-enrollment later this month. So now we both have Intunes and WSTEP integration directly to this portal.
Quick question, if I may.
Yeah.
Some companies, or most of the companies currently, they are working in a hybrid environment. So they have on-prem, they have a root certificate server, and they might have also NDES and other stuff set up with the Azure as well. So how does this basically, how do you set it up so it doesn't interfere, or how can it be done basically that we could potentially use all your functionalities and also all of our functionalities, especially when creating the on-prem or private certificates for internal services?
That is an awesome question, and am I allowed to promise you that within a few minutes I will be talking about exactly that?
Oh, perfect. That's fine. No problem.
Yeah. But this Intune integration will not at least interfere with anything on-premise at all. I can promise you that one. But I was about to say this is what I think is very important right now for our cloud service of deploying certificates and where you buy certificates. And I love this portal, so I could talk about it for days probably. But anyway, I want to move on to the other topic also that I promised today. And now I just have to find where we were at the demo here. And again, can you see my demo screen now?
Yes, we do.
Because thank you. The next thing, just to show you, this is how the PKI as a service is configured. This is fully secured by our. We have certificates, our own private root certificates. It's all protected by Entrust HSM. So all the keys are protected in hardware. So now I will talk about this one. Find, control, and automate. And that will bring me back to what your question in just a few seconds. Why do we want to do some certificate lifecycle management? What is the drivers behind this? And we at the last couple of years, and this will probably get worse, right? The number of certificates we need to handle in the daily basis on our servers, on users' devices, due to compliance regulations from EU, from America, from wherever we talk to and work with, we need to have some compliance. And this is not only down to the multi-factor authentication between Windows servers and all that, but it's also on our certificate management. And we also find that a lot of businesses, they were really good when they implemented their PKI, but these guys are now moved on to other companies. They have stopped, they are retired or whatever. So we often find a lot of unmanaged CAs and certificates. So another thing, and then this one with the organizations finding multiple CAs, this is due to the legacy of how easy it is to deploy the CAs. And many consultants are just spinning up a Microsoft CA because they couldn't wait for the IT department to do something. So we have big banks that we find lots of Microsoft CAs as shadow IT around in the infrastructure. And a discovery scan often will find those things. And that's why we want a certificate hub that can improve all your visibility around these certificates and the CA and how we deploy them. And now one of the latest issues we get is this, not only growing the number of certificates, but the lifetime of the certificates are getting shorter and shorter. And Google has now, they have announced that services running on their in their Google Cloud will very soon be down to 90 days of rotation. And the more computer power we got, the lower the certificate life cycle has to be. So that's why we want this. And to make it easy, we will have no certificates has to go unmanaged. And we want this single pane of glass for visibility, for reporting, so we don't miss any certificates renewals. And we want to do it from a central point of implementation. We need a single point where we do all the management. And again, not again, but the last one, we need to be able to integrate to existing infrastructures, to other vendors, CLM tools, other CAs, and whatever we have of use cases running on existing infrastructure. And that's where our certificate hub will come in. And as the same, it's actually kind of the same discovery scanner as from the ECS portal we talked about just a few minutes ago. The certificate hub also have this discovery scanner. So it's actually the same. We can put it into our network and we can define which IP scopes, port scopes, etc. And we are not locked onto one discovery scanner. If we have several networks, if we have different sites that are not, we cannot see each other, or we have closed network segments, we just put different certificate scanners, discovery scanners into those networks. So we can have multiple discovery scanners reporting back into the certificate hub console. If you already run vulnerability scanners, probably a lot of enterprises are doing this. This discovery scanner might be seen as a threat. If something's wrong in our network. But you can exclude this discovery scanner, or you can reuse your vulnerability scanners information, because those can also find the metadata and so on from your certificate, and we can reuse that. So the certificate hub, the discovery scanner, now we have our overview again of the certificates. We can get the notification reports. We have our admins, users, different roles doing different tasks on our certificate environment. And to just have a quick look at what we bring into a solution of our CLM is that we have the certificate hub console, and then we have the CA gateway. The CA gateway is a REST API engine. So because of that, we can connect almost anything to that CA gateway. And this is our connection between all our components. And then we have for the enrollment gateway, this Entrust enrollment gateway. This is where we can connect our different use cases like ACME, WSTEP, sorry, SCEP, and this enrollment gateway will act as an ACME server, a WSTEP service, and so on. And the CA gateway will now define, it will know where to go when you request a new certificate, because a certificate hub knows the CA gateway. And now you can see, and this is where you asked about before, the CA gateway is CA agnostic. So of course we can build in, talk to our own Entrust products, but also with Microsoft Active Directory Certificate Service and DigiCert and Prime Key. So if you're working with those out of the box, we can connect with our CA gateway to those already existing PKI environments. And what that does is that we will get all the information about any certificate ever issued from those PKIs. And of course, also when the expiry date, everything, all the metadata we will will be able to see. So this, if it's a CA we don't know about or don't have a plugin for, we can build plugins for new things, for other vendors that we are not connecting today right now. So this is the certificate hub architecture, or what you can call it. And remember, you will get this slide deck afterwards, so we can go not fast, but we can go over it quickly. So this is what it's all about: discovery and control and auditing reports. And the CA gateway, the certificate enrollment gateway, and the certificate hub, it looks like a hard way to get into infrastructure, but it's actually deployed on a virtual appliance called the Entrust Deployment Manager. That where you download that and import it into Hyper-V or VMware, and now you enable it and configure it, and then inside that EDM you will have already the certificate hub, the CA gateway, and the enrollment gateway. And now it's just a question of providing CA credentials to connect to the different CAs and the CA gateway, and the connections to your users, admins, and so on. And of course, that will be certificate-based credentials you log on to your environment with. So this is how we do it. And now the next slide. That's why I say you will get the slide deck. This is the different integrations we have. What are they doing, and which product are required? And you can see it is CA gateway, it's KEC, and a Cert Hub. But remember, it's inside the same Entrust Deployment Manager, so it's very easy to implement. Easy in the way that you probably will require a day or two with professional services, but it's very easy to install and configure, and also the ongoing daily maintenance, because it's a patch updated into the EDM, and that will then update all the different components inside that one. So connecting everything is the CA gateway, and I can see I'm talking for a long time, but anyway, the CA gateway this is what connecting everything, because it is the REST API. And it also connects directly to Entrust PKI as a service. This is not necessary, of course, for Intune. It's not necessary for WSTEP, but of course you can use that also. And if we look at the PKI as a service, why is that so popular right now, seen from our perspective? And we also get a lot of customers on the PKI as a service right now. And this is because our PKI as a service, it talks to Active Directory, so we can do the W step, we can do skip, we can do whatever you like for replacing on-premise Microsoft CA. Because right now the Microsoft Active Directory Certificate Service are running on a lot of Windows 2012 servers, and those are running. They are end of support actually. So when you're then a customer, they say we need to replace our PKI. Why not go with a PKI as a service so we don't need our on-premise PKI anymore? And we, of course, go directly to Active Directory. So your group policy will now be defined to go to our enrollment gateway instead of the Active Directory service, certificate service. And now we're using PKI as a service instead of Microsoft. So very easily. Also, as I mentioned, the Intune, the device management services, but of course also the private service if you want to replace certificates by as ACME service like web services running on Linux and Windows. We can do that from PKI as a service through the enrollment gateway. Maybe some other kind of use cases. Let's jump on that one. So this is the protocols we work with through our certificate enrollment gateway. On the left, we have the different use cases. We have user certificates, workstation servers, Mac OS, Android, etc. And the enrollment gateway will talk to the different, what you can say, SCEP servers, the MDM, ACME v2, and so on, and validate the request. And now we talk to the CA gateway and go to our security manager, our PKI as a service, whatever, and again, the Entrust certificate services. I run this fast because I think I already talked about this. The use cases replace Microsoft, and we also support for cross-forests, subdomains, domains, etc., with our Active Directory and W-step integrations. And the most the use case we often meet is the replacement of Microsoft CA. ACME v2, why are we using that? Because we have TLS, SSL servers, services that need to automate also the certificates of those. So we have different clients tested. As you can see, WinACME, so we also do ACME for Windows services. The ECS portal has a built-in ACME server, so you don't need to go to the enrollment gateway. You can do that because you want some kind of a proxy or gateway because your web service internally, maybe you don't want them to talk directly to the internet, but it can do that directly to the ECS portal. So we also have the ACME v2 service both on our KEC, the enrollment gateway, or directly on the ECS portal. This one, I won't go through that. But you will be able to see this. So this is just what the different enrollment options do we have for endpoints, for networking, OS supports, which protocol are we supposed to use? And how do we enroll it? What is required? And again, this is not only Entrust, this is for everything. This is standard enrollment options. Integrations that we have today, we do support something like ServiceNow. We are in the ServiceNow application store. So if you want your service owners, your users, your admins to be able to create and order certificates, SSL certificates through ServiceNow, it's very easy to integrate. We already have that built-in application for ServiceNow, and everything you can do most of the thing from the portal. You can also do that through API. So if you build something yourself or know ServiceNow and have developers that can code in that one, then you can do almost anything through ServiceNow. And so doing that, of course, is good because you now have it in your ServiceNow CMDB immediately. We do support like Venafi and other CLM tool. We can integrate to that, so everything comes from Venafi, but goes through our certificate hub. So we have the overview and everything about the certificates. Of CA integration, I mentioned that we do talk to Microsoft Azure. We integrate to DigiCert, PrimeKey, HashiCorp, but also Amazon Web Services. We are working on Google also, of course, but we can't do anything on the same day. So that will come more and more integrations. Another slide of integrations is that you can see what kind of DevOps can we do integrations to. And again, remember, this is API. So if you have other products that we made, that the ones you can see here, we probably can do it through the APIs and build a plugin for that. So one of the important one is Ansible. So when you have wildcard certificates, if you have the same certificates that need to be deployed to like 15 ADFS servers, you can do that through an Ansible automation. You probably know that already, but Ansible is a very big and extensive automation system, and of course it can also do certificates. We have the different enrollment standards, and we also have which kind of load balancers we support out of the box. Of course, we can also do it on Citrix NetScalers. If you know how to request a fully qualified domain name of a Citrix NetScaler, we can also do the discovery scan, because we need the fully qualified domain name for that one. And probably also a lot of other web application firewalls will require fully qualified domain name for discovery of certificates. Otherwise, you will be seen as an intruder. So why Entrust? Entrust is a public root, and a public root is also in the already in the key stores, and the trusted root certificates will already be inside your browser. It will be in your mobile browsers, and it will be in these Java clients already in the key stores as trusted and intermediate certificates. And that's why you don't have to deploy your root certificate and the intermediate certificate to all your endpoints, because they already know us. I know that's a lot of information in a very short time. I hope it was something you can use. And otherwise, you can talk to SecTec about it, and they will, of course, help you and eventually bring Entrust into it if you want to know more about this. So.
Okay, Søren, thank you for your presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask or send to the chat. We have
I didn't have time to follow the chat, so I hope you did that, Peter. But look at that, no questions. It was so clear what I said.
Yes, so. Everything is very clear.
Yeah.
And very easy.
Exactly. But now they have both your email, Peter, and they probably also have my email now. So I'll just say, go to Peter, and we will find out how to help you. And if you need more information, we can make second calls or a new session or whatever. If you find a specific interest or want more demo, we can arrange that. And
yes, of course, right? We will send this recording for our registered people, and they will be your contacts. No problem. Contact us as a distributor, as SecTec. We are responsible for this product from our side. It is Martin Matuška, who is technical guy, it is not a problem to send another answer or contact direct Soren.
Yeah. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, I think it will be any question. Soren, thank you again that you had time to connect and for your explanation, and we will be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.